In 1944, Guatemala was in a revolution, and the dictator Jorge Ubico was overthrown by university students. A little before Ubico left, he made a junta, a military force which would follow his policies. The junta led to another revolution in October 1944. During the October Revolution, a military coup led by Jacobo Arbenz overthrew the government and made another junta which called for an open election. Thus, Juan José Arevalo became the first democratically elected president of Guatemala. After he won the election, he banned communist parties, and later in 1951, Arevalo handed over his power to Jacobo Arbenz, who then legalized communist parties. Then in 1952, America got involved with the president of Nicaragua, Anastasio Somoza. Anastasio asked the president of the United States for assistance to overthrow the leader of Guatemala. United States President Harry Truman authorized the operation of PB Fortune. PB Fortune was an unsuccessful operation due to Somoza spreading word of the coup. However, in 1952, Dwight D. Eisenhower was elected to be the United States President. Eisenhower promised to make it harder on communism. In June of 1952, Arbenz issued an agrarian reform law. This law distributed land up to 500,000 poor people in Guatemala. The main goal of this decree was to turn feudalism into capitalism, but it was seen differently by the United Fruit Company and the United States. The United Fruit Company was mad because they had lost their land. They are important in regions like Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Honduras. The UFC was angry at Arbenz, so they tried to convince the United States to intervene on their behalf. Eisenhower's Secretary of State, John Foster Dulles, accused Arbenz for making a communist policy, and then seen as a communist threat. This led to the operation of PB Success. In August of 1953, Eisenhower authorized the CIA to carry out Operation PB Success. This coup criticized and wanted to isolate Guatemala internationally. This plan also mobilized Guatemalan activists and persuaded Guatemala's army to commit treason against Arbenz. The agency then put propaganda to make Guatemala look like the type of repressive government that the United States wanted to portray it as. June 18, 1954, Carlos Armas invaded Guatemala with a propaganda campaign as well. The radio station broadcasted anti-government messages, military events favorable to the rebellion, and bombings in Guatemala. Then the CIA removed Jacobo Arbenz and installed the military dictatorship of Carlos Castillo Armas. Yet Guatemala wasn't the only area to see conflict.